But like, what was your experience of working on it? How was it for you?
It was shit. It was the worst professional experience of my life. Yeah.
What went wrong? What happened?
Well, for a start, the script was shit, and
Right.
the decision to make the film was a mistake. I mean, I signed up to it because they pitched this idea of like, we want to do the horror version of Hellboy. We want to kind of bring you and like make it really dark and do the horror version. And and then I quickly found out that like A, the script was terrible. B, it was never going to get better before we shot it, despite many attempts. You can't polish a turd, no matter how much you try.
Yeah.
And I would have all creative control kind of taken away from me, and to extreme levels. Like there's nothing of me in that movie. And the worst part about it is that what they did in post was like they filled it full of this really bad CG gore. And I think a lot of people assume it's like, well, that's my hand all over the film, but actually it's not at all. I didn't really have anything to do with that, and I would have done as much practical as I possibly could, but we didn't get to do that. So yeah, it was just god awful. So it's not a film that I would like. I consider to be part of my canon. It's the only film that I've made that I didn't write, and I won't make that mistake again.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, it's going to be like an Alan Smithy job at one point, you know? Um,
It might well have been. I mean, the thing is like it is. It's a blot on my resume for sure. But it was a great learning experience for me in the sense that I make basic decisions, make the right choices for the right reasons. And the problem was that I hadn't been able to make a feature for like 9 years. I'd been working in the television space, but no matter how many, I was based out in LA. I'd been working in television and thoroughly enjoying that and doing great stuff. But all the time, I was trying to get features off the ground and just couldn't quite get there. And a lot of it was to do with the whole landscape was changing because the budget levels that I'd been working in was now kind of gone. That everything was either like super huge tentpole Marvel movies or
mhm.
like ultra low budget things, and the films that I was kind of making were not being made anymore. So I was really struggling to kind of get a film made, and then suddenly along comes this opportunity to do Hellboy, and they the pitch that they sold to me of doing this horror film was like, great, I get to do a feature. It was like the biggest budget I'd ever had, and then got there and it was just like just got trampled all over, and they just made a mess of it. Really did. And it's a shame because I think there is a good Hellboy movie out there to be done, but that's not it.
Yeah. I mean, this is, I guess this is a frustrating thing. And this is, um, why it's interesting to talk to people like yourself to get that other perspective on it, because it's easy for people like me who review movies, to lay the blame on the director and say like, well, you didn't direct a good movie there. But then we don't know the amount of, like, career actual control that they had over the film, and how much interference there is, how many things are mandated by the studio and stuff. And then, like, as you kind of describe it there, it's like you're just kind of a proxy director, and like all the decisions are kind of taken by other people, and it must just be an immensely frustrating experience. And especially if the movie doesn't do well and you're kind of getting blamed for it, and it's like, well, it's not really my fault because I didn't really have a hand in most of this stuff.
It's pretty soul destroying, yeah. I mean, like when you're on set trying to block a scene with the actors and you've got a producer who keeps on like just butting in and giving them different directions. Like, and then and it's bad for the actors, it's bad for the film, it's bad for everything. And the end result is what you get.